Good day. My name is David Wild, and this is the second part of a three-part lecture on Chapter 3 on diversity in today's workforce from Connect Master Management 2.0. The first subject we'll talk about in this part of the lecture are work-life issues. The non-work aspect of employees' lives has major implications for managers and organizations. First, family trends and living arrangements are changing. It is quite clear from U.S. Census data that the traditional quote family structure, two married parents, one working parent, typically the father, and a couple of kids, has been evolving for many years. Now we have dual career couples. With the increased participation of women in the workforce, we have seen a rise in such dual career couples, where both parties in the relationship earn an income and have high commitment to their work roles. The need for dual career couples to balance personal and professional obligations and commitments can create distress, depression, and emotional exhaustion. Emotional spillover occurs when a negative or positive emotion carries over from home to work or from work to home. Emotional crossover occurs when one partner experiences the emotion of the other partner. Work-family conflict, which refers to when the demands at work interfere with one's ability to cope with demands at home, and where the demands at home interfere with one's ability to cope with the demands at work, is quite stressful, and it can result in lower effectiveness in both work and non-work roles. Lastly, the subject of sandwich families. According to recent data, 47% of adults in their 40s and 50s have a parent aged 65 or older while raising a young child or supporting a grown child. This has led to an increase in the number of so-called sandwich families, or families with middle-aged parents who are responsible for the care of their older parents as well as their own children. Your professor is one of these. So in summary, talking about work-life issues, in this 24/7 world, employees and their employers need to come to agreement on how to provide balance between work and non-work activities. And as many of us know, that's not easy. Dual career couples, single parents, and sandwich families are examples of the changing family structure that need to find balance between working the required number of hours and completing job tasks on time, while balancing a meaningful life outside of work. Managers need to recognize that challenges at home have implications for work in the form of emotional spillover and emotional crossover, which can affect employee productivity. Now, let's talk about the subject many of you may be already familiar with evolving employment relationships. Historically, most employment relationships were stable and long-lasting. Referred to as indefinite employment, people were hired with an unknown endpoint in their employment for an organization. With indefinite employment, people tended to stay in a specific organization for years, sometimes decades, and were promoted through a series of jobs with greater levels of responsibility and pay. For the last several decades, however, there has been a shift away from indefinite employment in response to a number of trends, including increases in global competitiveness. Organizations have sought to reduce labor costs and to maintain an agile workforce that can be more responsive to shifts and changes in technology. We've seen growth in temporary workers. Temporary workers refer to individuals who work for an organization, either full or part-time, based on the needs of the employing organization. One reason why organizations use temporary workers is because it promotes flexibility. Temporary workers provide functional flexibility, which refers to the different knowledge, skills, and abilities within the workforce that can be applied when the situation requires them. Temporary workers also provide numerical flexibility, which refers to the number of workers that a company employs at a given point in time. We've also seen growth in outsourcing and offshoring. Outsourcing and offshoring are closely related terms that refer to subcontracting with outside vendors to provide specific services that were done previously in-house. Outsourcing is typically used to refer to this activity when done domestically. On the other hand, offshoring refers to sourcing work, primarily business support services, to organizations in other countries. Independent contractors. While temporary workers and outsourcing and offshoring are arrangements with another organization or a staffing firm, companies today also use many independent contractors, workers who perform specific duties for their client and have independent oversight over their own work. Finally, there's the development of the gig economy. Along with increasing reliance on independent contractors to accomplish work in organizations, there has been an increase in people who serve as independent contractors for short-term tasks. These tasks, sometimes called gigs or side hustles, occur outside the scope of the traditional employment relationship, and in the aggregate make up a large and growing part of the economy. Indeed, it has been estimated that about 43% of the entire U.S. workforce is involved in what has become known as the gig economy. So, in summary on evolving employment relationships, the nature of the employment relationship between employees and organizations continues to evolve. Gone are the days employees stay at the same organization for most of their professional career. Recognizing the changing relationship, organizations are increasingly turning to temporary workers, outsourcing and offshoring, and independent contractors to take on work tasks which helps them to remain flexible in an ever-changing business environment. In addition, the growth of gig work over the past several years has become an important topic not only for organizations, but for workers who may decide this type of employment helps them strike an important work-life balance. And with that, we end the second part of our three-part lecture on Chapter 3 on diversity in today's workforce.